my plan was to shoot some B-roll of myself walking, through the graveyard like I've done before, but right now that walking is a little harder than it usually is, the idea of setting my camera up and walking past it and then going back and getting it again, not doing a whole lot of that right now. So yeah, this is my transition piece. Why am I telling you this? I don't know. I'm getting ready to go to the library, stopped by the cemetery. I haven't been to the cemetery since my surgery, and as you know, it's one of my favorite places to sit and rest. I actually had a telehealth call, and so I took it here at the cemetery, which was kind of neat. Anyway, so I want to talk about the books that I recently read, because I'm getting ready to go to the library and return them. So first was Radiant, the Life of Keith Haring. This was really cool to hear of somebody whose life is experienced in health issues was very different from mine, but the way he used art as a way to communicate, to express himself, to engage in activism was really cool. And I didn't realize how much of his art I have seen all over the place and not even known it was his. It's like a quote that becomes just part of your language and you've never seen the movie or heard the song that it comes from. Anyway, I thought that was really powerful. I really liked his story, and it also, I love the way his art is, and it got me to watch YouTube videos about him and his art, and really made me feel comfortable with my own eclectic, chaotic style of art. It's nice to know that I'm not the only chaotic creative out there. Well, I know you guys are there, but it's cool to see professionals who engaged in that. So that was really good. How to Live Free in a Dangerous World by Shayla Lawson. Again, not every facet of her life I connected with, but there are some parts, especially when they talked about chronic illness and about just having the liberty to be yourself and to not have to explain it all the time, because as a black man who runs around in a kilt all the time, I often get sometimes curiosity, sometimes suspicion. The question, there's always questions, but the way the questions come at me are different. Sometimes it's just, I'm just very curious and want to know. And sometimes it's like, explain yourself. Why are you doing this thing that's not normal? And her book reminds me that we don't need an explanation for who we are all the time. Sometimes the fact that we are who we are is enough. The fact that we exist is enough. Wear a kilt because I want to. No one asks somebody, why are you wearing jeans? Well, I'm sure if you're wearing jeans in a place you're not supposed to, but always it's like that bell curve of normal, right? And if you're too far off the bell curve, people want to know why you're not behaving like everybody else. Sometimes it's friendly, sometimes with suspicion. I don't know. Anyway, so Hey Kiddo by Jarrett Krzyzewska. I'm sorry, I can't pronounce the name properly. This one was kind of rough, even though it was a graphic novel. It dealt with some hard things, but again, that commitment to hearing stories of people whose lives are different from mine. It doesn't have to be vastly different. It could be off by 1 degree, but it still gives me a different perspective. A good story, but just definitely some trigger warnings when it comes to family life and trauma, especially childhood trauma. And then, what was the other one I read? Oh, Blackwater by Janet Arroyo and Ren Graham. Really good story, kind of a cute story, dealing with kind of the fantasy realm, but also dealing with chronic illness. And that was really cool. I don't often see good representation of chronic illness in stories. And this one was really good because a lot of times when I see illness in movies, it's either, I'm sick and I'm better, or it's, I'm sick and I died. And this is, I'm sick and I'm learning to live with it. And I thought that was really cool. And it's learning, anyway, so yeah, I really liked this story. It was a really fun read. I really enjoyed it. One night I was dealing with some insomnia. I couldn't sleep. And so I just sat up and made myself some tea and just read it in one sitting. Anyway, so those are the books I read, and I'm going to go to the library and get some more books. So, I already did an entire video talking about the books I got from the library, and then when I checked the video, because I was using the back camera, I realized that you were looking at my belly the whole time, which is kind of weird. So, let's try this again. Alright. So here's what I got from the library. This one's called Deer Man, 7 Years of Living in the Wild, and it's by Geoffroy, I don't know, Delorme. I cannot read. Anyway, the back says he does not fit in the human world. One night, an encounter with a deer changes his life. From then on, he knows he wants to live among them. In the forest, living with the deer for 7 years, he experiences the beauty, pain, fear, and joy of an existence lived as a part of nature, not separate from it. Thought that was kind of cool. And then for fun, I got Moriarty the Patriot books 2 and 3. I read the first book and then found out it was an anime. Watched the entire anime and loved it so much. I love different takes on Sherlock Holmes' famous adversary, James Moriarty. And the anime did not disappoint. The first book of the manga did not disappoint, so I'm excited to read more from that. And then I got a poetry book called Suddenly We by Evie Shockley. And the back simply says, Evie Shockley's new poems invite us to dream and work toward a more capacious we. And that seemed really cool. And I haven't really experienced a new poet in a while, so I'm excited to read some of her work and learn more about it. And then this one, I got it just because the cover looked amazing. It's called When Mystical Creatures Attack. And it doesn't really say what it's about, but the cover alone made it interesting, so we'll see if we like it. And then finally, Feeding the Soul Because It's My Business by Tabitha Brown. I was introduced to Tabitha Brown by Tiny Chef. It's this kid's show on Netflix, really cute. My daughter and I love it. And there's this point where he'll like talk to different people, and he's talked to her twice on the show. And so that got me curious about who she was. And she's apparently a vegan food star. So anyway, it's talking about her health journey. She dealt with undiagnosed chronic illness, chronic autoimmune pain. So definitely can relate to that part of the story. So curious to learn more about her through reading her work. And that's what I got from the library. And the one thing that sucks about using a cane all the time is that I drop this stupid thing all the time. Like, I almost need like a holster or something for it. I guess that'd be kind of weird. But when does that stop me? Also, there's these like seed pods everywhere, and I think I'm going to take a few of them home. Maybe I can make some kind of art project with them.